everyone, this is Shilobhi and welcome back to my YouTube channel, that is my booktube channel, The Caffeinated Reader. I hope you are all doing very well and in great health and happiness, and I sincerely pray and wish that you end the year well on a good and healthy note, and also welcome the new year with a prosperous health and of course happiness. So this is going to be the last video for 2020 and I'll be talking about the top 12 books that I read this year. Now honestly, this was a very difficult choice to pick up the top 12 books of this year because I read a great deal of good books this year, but nevertheless I tried to pick up the best ones I could, and I really don't know if I would regret after the video goes up if I should have included any other book in the video, but nevertheless it's okay. And yes, since the video is going to be long and I don't want to bore you up with my shitty blabberings, let's get started into today's video. Now one of the best books that I read this year is this book called Tuesdays with Morrie. Now I'm not ranking any book as the first, second, third in that way because I really don't know if I will be justified in ranking it within myself, because I really don't know which book I want to rank first or second. But yes, this is one book I really want to mention. Tuesdays with Morrie is one of the best reads of mine till date, and this is one non-fiction book that everyone should read, rich or poor, boy or girl, young or old, and that's a lot of saying because I'm not a non-fiction reader, a very ardent one, and this book just had my heart. This book is about an old man, a young man, and they discuss the greatest treasures of life. Now the young man is the student, that is Mitch Albom himself, and the old man is the professor of his during his boyhood days. Now this old man is infected with a disease and now it is killing him very slowly, and it is during this time that he gives the greatest lessons of life to this young man, their last class. And I really appreciate myself for picking up this book, because if I hadn't, then I would have missed a very good deal of things that I should know about life, about love, about kindness, empathy, everything as such. And I highly recommend, if you are preparing your TBR for 2021 and you haven't read it till date, please pick up Tuesdays with Morrie. It's a must read even if you're a non-reader. So here's the first book I really want to include in my top books of 2020 is Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. Now the second book I want to talk about is this book called Rebirth by Jahnavi Barua, and this is one book I really want to praise. Cheers to the writer, because she is from Assam, Jahnavi Barua. And one of the bad things what I am feeling about this book is this is so underrated. Like, it is one book in the Merit Nation Literary Prize which has not been included in the overseas languages, and that's a very pathetic thing for any book lover because they are missing out a great deal of thoughts. Now this book I picked up in my first vlog video, that is the latest video before this, if you have watched it, and this is the coming out of age story. And here the narrator is the mother who it is a passionate relationship between the mother and her unborn child, and how she shares her day-to-day life with her child, her dealing with suffering, betrayal, emotional abuse, and all such things as such. And I, being a person belonging from Assam and who have got the first-hand experience of witnessing the Assamese culture, can assure you that everything, the beauty of the Assamese culture depicted here, and the traditions and places and their beauty depicted here are so very accurate, and Jahnavi Barua has done a great job in capturing all of these emotions in one place. And you just need to go through this book to understand the beauty of her writing style, of the beauty of the place of Assamese culture, beauty of the place of Assam itself. And this is a book I highly recommend you to read because it has got many things to know, and it is very beautiful. So yes, one of the most beautiful. The second book I am saying about in this video is this book called Rebirth by Jahnavi Barua. Now the third book is this book called Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. Now this book is a fictional plus spiritual book, and it's so beautiful. Like, if you're a person who loves spirituality, if you're a person who loves fiction, this is a one-stop destination. It actually juxtaposes both the ways in so nicely, and the name Siddhartha by himself is such a beautiful amalgamation of Gautama the Buddha and the character here mentioned, and both are so spiritually active, and both have overcome their material life and their material desires in the same way almost. And this book actually gives you insights into what spirituality actually is and how spirituality is tough and what everything as such. I actually cannot describe the book to you in such detailed format if you haven't read it. And there are so beautiful things about nirvana, about time, about what life is about, and how spirituality is different from other things which we think as spirituality. Is a very beautiful book. Also, I love the cover of the book because which I got, and this I unboxed in my first haul video. You might check out that one also. And I really loved reading it. I also have some annotations done. So yes, that was the book, the third book, Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. Now the fourth book I want to talk about is this book called 1984 by George Orwell. Now this book is the first book I read about in the dystopian genre, and I must admit that I have got the best beginning anyone could have in this genre. Now in this book, George Orwell shows how political manipulation and political power and totalitarian government in its destructive form is so horrifying for the mankind, and how even when the totalitarian government goes to its ultimatum of abuse and control, it actually controls your brain and mind, and how if you are not if you don't actually choose your government wisely and rightly, it can lead to the destruction of the entire society. Definitely horrifying read and a must read, and also a must read for everyone out there, for every country, whoever you are and whatever you are reading. You should read this as a responsible citizen to know what actually our government is able to do and how totalitarian governments rule. And there is one famous quote of this book: Big Brother is watching you, which is the state is watching you, even what you are thinking. And it's really horrifying. So yes, the fourth book was 1984 by George Orwell. Now the fifth book is The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank, and she needs no introduction. She is the victim of the Holocaust, or that is the massacre done by Adolf Hitler, the mass killing of Adolf Hitler. Now while reading this book, I realized what a beautiful person she was, and had she survived the Holocaust and had she survived those horrifying times, she would have made one of the greatest journalists or writers of all time. Her beautiful ideologies, her thoughts were so provoking and heartwarming, even at the tender age of 13, 14, 15, where teenagers are not considered as having someone having opinions. And true to the fact that when their thoughts are not matured, she possessed so much maturity and so much depth to her thoughts. She also wanted to be a writer while she was young, and wanted to be an author, and she didn't want to just spend her life being a housewife or something as such, doing only the household chores. And being an extrovert myself, I could relate to her chatty nature, her amiable behavior and everything as such. You should definitely read this book to understand gratitude, to understand how to face difficult times with a smile, and to be grateful for everything you have, to be living freely with for everything you have, because in spite of being in such tremendously bad situations, she had gratitude in herself. And this book is a must read for everyone out there, because this teaches how to live life. And you should also read this book to celebrate this girl who is no longer a mistress, but her voice echoes to all of us. So yes, the next book is The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. Now the sixth book that I want to talk about is this book called The Night Chambered Heart by Janice Perriott. And it's one of the most beautiful and soothing reads of the year. In this book, we are presented with a woman whom 9 men have loved, or in alternative words, one woman who have loved 9 men, and on the basis of those 9 men, her character is analyzed, her desires judged, and you find fragmented pieces of her fragmented pieces of her characters, her beauty and everything, what those 9 men observed. The Shirobi you are seeing is not equal to the Shirobi my mother is seeing, is not equal to the Shirobi my brother is seeing, my friends are seeing, my relatives are seeing. She is a different person for everyone, different. Of course, there is something similar in all of them, but everyone gets a different version of her, and it's the same thing here. And it's such a weird feeling, like the same person having multiple dimensions, but at the same time it's so real and true. And this is a must read. Of course, it involves little romance, but the romance is so beautiful. It's the kind of romantic books you should read and you would like to read, and it's so beautiful. Also, I have mentioned about it and I have a detailed review about it in my Instagram account, that is @caffeinated reader. I have separated my accounts of my bookish and non-bookish stuffs, so do follow the Caffeinated Reader for more such. And yes, that was it. The next book, The Night Chambered Heart by Janice Perriott. Now the seventh book is this book called Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and it's a Japanese novel translated book. I read it in English, and I have talked about it in great detail in my International Coffee Day video. So if you want to know more about it, you can check that video out. And it's a very beautiful and heartwarming read, centering coffee and the family drama. And it's basically based on time travel, and there are 4 people who want to travel back in time or in future, that is in the past or in future, to rectify something or to mend something for the future. And causes seem so natural and beautiful and so heartwarming, and it's very engaging book, very heartwarming book, the kind of book you would like to read in December or in a cozy winter evening or to cherish for a long time. So yes, the 7th book is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Now the 8th book is We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. And this is hands down one of the best books you need to know, you need to read to know why you should support feminism or in general womanhood. And this book shows you that man or woman, irrespective of which gender you fall in, you should be a feminist, because feminism is not celebrating womanhood, but it is celebrating the existence of all the beautiful nature and characteristics because of which women must be celebrated. And this book is said from the perspective of a Nigerian American woman. She, being a Nigerian woman, studied, educated and living in America, she brings forth the problems and troubles faced by the Nigerian woman. Even to stay in a hotel, she needs the permission and the approval of a man, and that's so weird and pathetic for any woman. And from that perspective, she has talked about it in a great detail. And even when she is staying in America, she has seen a great deal of suppression and oppression for in women category. And it's on that basis she has written the book We Should All Be Feminists. It's about 50 pages long, but it encompasses everything you need to know about the basic things about why you should be feminist. And she has put forth her introspection, which will get mingled with yours, and you will find many things relatable. Of course, not all things are seen in our society, at least in our near about environment, because we are very much fortunate, but even some things are there, though in less intensified form, but they still prevail. And that's the reason you should read this book, and you should also include in your 2021 TBR if you have not read it. So yes, the 8th book was We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. So the 9th book I want to talk about is this book called To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Now, this is a classic book, but not the Victorian era classics with its bombastic words and hi-fi English. This is a classic which you should read as a human to understand what humanity looks like. Now here we are presented with Atticus, who is a lawyer himself, and he has 2 children, James, if I'm not wrong, and Scout. Now both of these children also has traits of him in the sense that they support justice. They also have humor in them, just like Atticus has, though he doesn't show it much. Now Atticus is a person who supports justice and truth in the face of anything. In the story, there's a case, that is case in the sense where a trial takes place where a black man is accused of raping a white woman just because of the this is a false accusation which takes place because of the clash between the black and the white community. Now Atticus, being a white man himself, supports the black man and wants to fight for him, even in the face of losing his family, everything dear and near to him, even when people are saying to not support that man. And the story is said from the perspective of the child Scout, and we see that how prevalence is in fact there in her even, and even in James, and how the traits of being true, of being truthful to truth is there among the 3 people of the family. And it's a very heartwarming story. The entire process seems so beautiful, and how we should respect all humans and everything as such is so beautifully described, and it's very beautiful. You should definitely read this book up. So yes, the next book was To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Now the 10th book is this book called All the Bright Places by Jennifer Neville. And it's a very poignant and beautiful story between 2 people who face depression, loss, sufferings, and they come together to mend each other up, but ultimately a destruction takes place in one of their lives which is not foreseen. And you would love to you love both the people, but the end of one of them really feels shattering. Now there is a polarizing opinion about this book by some of the bibliophiles that this book supports self-harm, suicide and all such things as such, and I respect their viewpoint, but I also feel that picking up a YA novel in itself shows that you are mentally prepared to grasp whatever it shows to tells to try. Of course, trigger warning: if you are not in your good frame of mind, in the best frame of your mind, and you are suffering through any kind of mental issues, please don't pick this book up, because it has got a great deal of self-harm and violence and of course suicide. But other than that, this is a book you should definitely read to understand love, beauty and some really good and cherished words. Fun fact, this book is based on Jennifer Nevin's own life, and I just can't imagine how she dealt with so much pain with so much courage and beauty that she could put forth such a beautiful story before us. So yes, the 10th book was All the Bright Places by Jennifer Nevin. Now the 11th book is this book called Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. Now this was my first pick by Haruki Murakami, and I really understood what magical realism feels like. Fish pouring from the sky, humans talking to cats, and all those things is what magical realism looks like. Reality too magical to be believed. Now here we have two characters. I have given a written review about this book in my Instagram account, The Caffeinated Reader, so you can check that out too. So in this book, we are presented with two remarkable and odd characters: Kafka Tamura, who is a teenage boy who is trying to flee from his father's horrifying prophecy about his future, and Satoru Nakata, who is an illiterate old man, but he, because of a very tragic past of his, is mentally challenged, but he has got his own independent and special power, that is, he can talk to cats. Now both of their lines cross because of a fateful incident, and what is that incident that tries to align them is the whole story. And we are also presented with another main character, Miss Psyche, who is actually the cause of aligning them both. And what is the prophecy? Why is he Kafka trying to escape it? Now is all you need to know about this book. Who is this Miss Psyche? What is this relation? And how is Nakata involved? And all of these things. Now Kafka is not the real name of the boy. All throughout he is called Kafka because he picks this name for himself because of his respect to Franz Kafka, and we really don't know what his real name is, because he doesn't want to keep anything given to him by his father, and so he also actually sacrifices his name. But it's a really good story. Now trigger warning: if this is your first pick by Murakami, don't be open to anything and everything that comes your way, because it's really very weird kind of a book. You need to be open to anything and everything. I repeat, anything and everything, because it has something very grotesque which you would not be able to accept, but that's where the essence of the book lies, and that's where you need to figure out what Murakami wants to depict through his. But I actually love the book very much. So yes, that was it, the 11th book, Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. And the last book for today's video is this book called The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. And it's a real good thriller. I have also included this book in my Winter's Cozy Day video, so you may check out that one also if you want to see about this book in great details. And yes, this book is written by Dan Brown, and it's a historical thriller, and it's a real good thriller. You come to know about pagan society, about what is the pagan religion, the brotherhood, Da Vinci, and many more things which we might probably not know in our everyday life. And it presents to you very fast-paced, very quick thriller. You will literally feel your heart pacing. It's about 300 to 400 pages book. I finished this book up within 2 days because I just couldn't put it down, and it's really one of those thrillers which will not let you put the book down, and it's an absolute best thriller, and I really loved reading it. It's also an award-winning movie is there. In the same name, and yes, it absolutely justifies the hype it gets. So yes, the last book for today's video was Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. The positive quote for today is "Every moment is a fresh beginning" by T.S. Eliot, and I sincerely believe in this quote. It is because in this, it is on the moment you start believing is because it is on that moment that you actually find what you actually need. It is on that moment you have got the willpower and the confidence to pursue it, and it's on that moment you find the world at your feet and your dreams also come closer to you. And I sincerely pray your 2021 becomes the best of the year, with the best of the moments and with best of your willpower and everything as such. The 2020 had been a very bad year for each one of us, me, you and everyone near and dear one to us. We lost family, friends, we had emotional distancing, we lost our sanity, peace of mind, and many things innumerable. The count goes on. The coronavirus has affected us so thoroughly. We faced lockdown, we faced quarantine life, and we also faced loss of many people dear to us. In fact, some have lost their lives to us, so lost their life in this whole scenario. And I pray for your healing. If you have lost someone very dear to you, may 2021 bring you the showers of joy and happiness you need, blessings of the choicest kind by God, and everything beautiful that you need. May you sing your hearts out, may you jump, shout and cry in joy, and may 2021 be the blossoms of happiness, the spring of beauty all around you, for me and for everyone near and dear to us. So happy 2021 in advance, and I sincerely pray that this year brings out the best of us, the best of our potential, the best of our family, the best of everything as such, the very best of everything. So yes, that was it. Hope you liked the video. If you liked it, do give it a thumbs up. Comment what you liked, what you didn't like, what I should change, and what you loved the most. Also share your best books of 2020. I would look forward to it. Subscribe to my channel because I post bookish contents, and if you are into bookish stuff, you should definitely subscribe to my channel. Also, if you love my blabbering the way I do, you should definitely subscribe to see more of it. Share it with your friends, family, close ones, and everyone you find would love to watch my videos and would enjoy it, then do share it with them. So yes, like, share, comment, subscribe to all the good things that's necessary to make me and make my channel grow. Till the next time, bye bye. That is till 2021 I'll be coming with the next video. So yes, till then, bye bye.